1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 68, Reds at Las Vegas.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Summer Carryover League. We are back in the National League, another best-of-5 series, and we have a battle of first-place teams a year ago in their respective divisions, the Cincinnati Reds and Las Vegas. Of course, the Reds are your defending world champions. They open up this best-of-5 on the road. Their opening series, they were at home against Houston for a best-of-5. And let's just take a quick peek at what happened in the first opening day series for this division. So the Cardinals, these teams played the teams out west, and the Cardinals were the only team to win a series, 3-1. They would beat, I believe, the Dodgers. And then the other teams didn't do very well. And then over here, same kind of thing. Portland won their series, but the other expansion teams didn't do very much. So, we're just a couple games back of the Cardinals, and Vegas a game back behind Portland. It's a long season. So, but that's how they started. So both teams should kind of want to win this series, of course. And obviously the Cincinnati Reds definitely want to win this series. I mean, they're the world champions, and they're not used to stumbling at all. And particularly against an expansion team, I don't care how good they are, right? So today's pitchers in a game 1 in Las Vegas, it's going to be Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan had a huge World Series a year ago, was the World Series MVP for the Reds. However, he cannot pitch on 3 days rest, so he becomes the number 2 starter on this Reds team behind Don Gullett, as Gullett can actually pitch more frequently. And for Las Vegas today, it'll be Ken Brett, their number 2 starter. Brett's numbers are 13-9 with a 3.44 ERA and 212 innings. Well, and Gary Nolan's, I forgot to give you his regular season numbers were 15-5, a $1.99 and 176 innings. Let's get started from the Taj Mahal out here in the desert. Reds going someplace they're not familiar with. Does that help or hurt them? We'll find out. Reds retool their lineup against lefties as well, with Geronimo on the bench and Bobby Tolan moving over into center field. We'll see how that plays out. And so leading off, it'll be Bobby Tolan. 49 off of Brett is double 1 single, base hit, double A stealer. He's going to take off. And he's out on a 19. One of the things you're going to see this year against Las Vegas is that teams are going to be aggressive stealing bases as to stay out of the double play, as Las Vegas has the best defensive infield in this Strat-O-Matic League. They don't have a lot of hitting. They have a lot of defense, though. They have ones at third and short and first. Though today, Aurelio Rodriguez is not playing third. They have Tim Cullen over there. But no, nevertheless, Tolan is out stealing. And now it's Pete Rose. 46 is another single off of Brett. He will stay put with 1 out. See what these sluggers can do. Tony Perez. 2-8 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Johnny Bench. 2-7 for Johnny is a single to left field. Rose, does he go coast to coast? He's a 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I'll do that on 19. So they're on the corners for Lee May. 2-9 for Lee May, single 1 to 10, and he gets the single. And that will also score Pete Rose, who was aggressively took third on the previous hit. The Reds get on the board anyway with 2 outs. And it's Dave Concepcion. 6-10 off Ken Brett is short X, but this is one of those defenders. Ed Brinkman, a 1E8, makes the play. Again, if you're wondering up here, if I got a 1E8 defender playing at home and the result for a 3E16 is out, I don't waste my time plugging the numbers in. It speeds the game up. Other than my commentary telling you I do that to speed the game up. Bottom of 1, it's Ken Berry. 3-7 is a K. Wes Parker, 1-4, first. Tommy Davis, 612, left field. All right, it'll be the top of 2. Ken Suarez, 2-7 is a pop to third. Vukovic, 45, pops to first. And Tommy Helms, 45, pops to first. Bottom of the second. Jim Nettles, 68, pops to first. Juan Beniquez, 2-9, rolls to shortstop. And Ron Hodges, 56, is a fly ball to right field B. There you go. 2 quick innings for Gary Nolan. Top of the third, back up top to Bobby Tolan. 69, he flies to center field. Pete Rose, 37, a ground ball to short. And with 2 outs, it's Talkin' Tony Perez. 1-7, talking with his bat. Triple, 1-6, single ... That is a base hit. And now Johnny Bench, who's actually playing right field today, giving him a day off from his hurting his knees there. Put him in the outfield. Can't put him in center field this year. I can put him at first base and right field though. That'll be fun. So he gets a rare start in the outfield. In the Vegas outfield. I guess the Vegas Heat didn't want to be catching, put all that equipment on. Johnny Bench, 67, is a fly ball to left. Most likely, if they get a lead in the middle innings, they'll move Geronimo into the outfield for him. Bottom of the third, it's Tim Cullen. 57 is a K. Ted Kubiak, 5'10", catcher's card. This is Suarez, a 2E6. And he makes the play. Easy Ed Brinkman, 39, rolls to third base. We go to the fourth. It's going to be Lee May. 37, a K. Dave Concepcion, 3-6, is single 101, a line out. And with 2 outs, Ken Southbound Suarez, 1-7, is a walk. John Vukovic, 47, single 1-2, lines the second. The Reds against lefties have a lot of odd names in there. Ken Suarez and John Vukovic, who only play against left-handed pitching, with Geronimo, Jim Stewart, and Gale Hopkins on the bench. Bottom of the fourth, Ken Berry. 1-6, and there goes your no-no. A triple 104 base hit for Ken Berry, the C Steeler. Wes Parker's going to do a hit and run. And he gets the 5 hit and run single. It works perfectly. With runners on the corners, Tommy Davis, they're going to play back, hope for double play here. 64, short X, probably will get it. A 2E21 is Concepcion. And it is the double play and the run scores, and it seems like both teams are happy. And the game is tied at 1. Jim Nettles, 2-8 is a walk. Juan Beniquez, 4-12, pops to first base. 1-1 game in the 5th. It'll be Tommy Helms, 47, single 1-2, line out. Nice settling down here for Ken Brett after the 4 hits in the first frame. Bobby Tolan, 1-9. Bobby Tolan, let's take a look at the Bobby Tolan card of 1972. Probably Bobby's last big year. Would get traded to the Padres for Clay Kirby, I believe. But right now they're going to have Tolan and Geronimo both play in the outfield for the Reds, with Carbo gone. And Tolan hit 283 in 648 plate appearances. Nice defender, great base stealer. 1-9 is triple 1-3, triple 1-6, single ... That'll be a base hit. He's going to attempt to steal again. Boy, it is not a good. It has not been working with stealing bases here. And he's out stealing again by the cannon arm of Ron Hodges. And with 2 outs, it's Pete Rose. 45, pops to first base. Well, Ken Brett can thank his battery mate for keeping this game close. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Bottom of the 5th, Vegas. 1-1. Ron Hodges, 4-10, center X. Center field is Tolan. He's a 2E4 in center field. Makes the grab. Tim Cullen, 46. Double 107 is a base hit. Kubiak, 62, pitcher B. And with 2 outs, it's Ed Brinkman, 1-4, rolls to third. Vegas, they like to drag you down to their speed when you play them. Drag you into the mud, make it a 1-run game, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 3-2. They don't hit very much. They have great defense, and they're a pain in the neck to blow out. So that's what we have today. A 1-1 game going to the 6th. Tony Perez, 35, single 1-3, lines out. Johnny Bench, 2-7, a single. Lee May, 5-10 is a walk, and Brett's having some problems again in the 6th for Dave Concepcion. Let's take a look at him before he swings. This is the 73 Concepcion, his first really big year with Cincinnati. Has the defense, but particularly has the bat. He moves up to a 2. He'll get the 1 in the next few years and then stay there for a bit, but he was a 3 with bad E ratings prior to this and a bad batting average. 73, 287 batting average with 8 home runs and 328 at-bats, really beats up lefties nicely. So with 2 on and 1 out, here's the pitch to Dave Concepcion. 54 off the Ken Brett card, homer 1-18, and that is gone right on cue. Dave Concepcion batting 6th with all that power in the middle of the lineup instead of 9th or 8th or 1st or 2nd because of the speed. They put him in a power spot, and it pays off big with a big 3-run homer, and the Reds are up 4-1. Ken Suarez, 3-6, a base hit for him. He's been on twice. John Vukovic, 56 off of Brett, double 1-5, single ... and Ken Brett's falling apart again here. Runners in the corners, they got to bring it up for Tommy Helms. 35 is short. The runner moves up from 1st to 2nd. The runner at 3rd stays there with 2 outs for Bobby Tolan. 58 is a roller to short. Now this is Ed Brinkman, a 1-8 shortstop. Nothing to worry about there for the home team. But a big 3-run homer for Dave Concepcion and the Reds. They take a 4-1 lead going to the bottom of the 6th, and that could be tough for Vegas to come back from. They don't have a lot of pop on this team, and Gary Nolan's on the mound. Matter of fact, could the Reds help Mr. Nolan by putting Geronimo in the outfield? Yeah, let's do that. Let's get that 1 in center field and move Johnny Bench out of there. Yeah, we'll just put Geronimo in Perez's spot and move Johnny to DH for the rest of the game. All right, bottom of the 6th. It is Ken Berry. 59, 2nd. Wes Parker, 68, pops to 1st. And Tommy Davis, 45, double right field. Jim Nettles, 34, flies to center. 4-1 into the 7th we go. Their bullpen, Vegas, Roger Hambright, Woody Fryman's good. Jim York, Jim Rowland is okay at best. They'll let Brett, a starter 8, continue. If he runs into trouble in the 7th, they'll hook him. Pete Rose, 2-4, rolls to short. The aforementioned Geronimo coming in the game late, 32, pops to 1st. And Johnny Bench, 64, catcher's card. And the catcher is Hodges, a 3-1. Bottom of the 7th we go. Stretch time here in Las Vegas at the Taj Mahal. We are enjoying the wonderful Ethio Jazz compilation from 1969 and 1974. Mulatu Ostatki. This is wonderful stuff here. Particularly like this one. Let's go with this one. Yeah, let's get this thing going a little bit for you folks. There you go. Beautiful. Bottom of the 7th. It'll be Juan Beniquez leading off. 47's a single. Ace stealer. He won't steal. Ron Hodges. 6-12, pitcher B. Tim Cullen, 33, pops to 2nd. And Kubiak, 34, pops to 1st. 4-1 game. Ken Brett will exit. Jim York will come on in. And it'll be Jim York, the righty setup guy, 5-5 with a 2.90 ERA for the Kansas City Royals in 71. Okay. Lee May leading off. 111 flies to right. Dave Concepcion, 35, flies to center. Ken Suarez, 1-8 to walk. He's been on 3 times. As Johnny Bench's backup catcher. John Vukovic, 1-8, is a round to third. Nolan continues as a starter 7 into the 8th in a 4-1 game. Capable bullpen, of course. Clay Carroll, Jim Strickland, Wayne Granger, Pedro Bourbon. Ed Brinkman leads off. 59 rolls to second. Ken Berry, 2-9, rolls to third. And with 2 outs, Wes Parker, 2-5, flies to center field. We'll go through the 9th inning, and they'll rotate their bullpen a little bit. They'll go Woody Fryman in the 9th. Woody actually was moved to the bullpen to make room for Jim Lomborg. 10-3, 2.05 ERA in 114 innings. Starter relief. That'll be a long relief. Tommy Helms. 2-6 pops out. Bobby Tolan, 64. Catcher's card. Hodges is a 3-4. And Pete Rose, 2-5, rolls to third base. All right, let's turn this down a little bit as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. This is the last chance for Vegas. Down 3 runs to Tony Perez. And they have Tommy Davis, me to their lineup, Tommy Davis, Jim Nettles, Juan Benitez. On the bench, Barry Foote, Mike Anderson, Aurelio Rodriguez. Mostly known for defense is this team, not offense. That is a problem late in games when they're trailing. Here is Tommy Davis. 45 off of Nolan. Gary Nolan, that's a double. Giving Vegas hope. Here's the left fielder, Jim Nettles. 39, let's take a look at the Jim Nettles card. He was a Minnesota Twin in 71. Hit .250. But nice symmetry with the power, lefties and righties. And frankly, he's in a platoon. Doesn't have to even face lefties if you don't want him to. Platooning with Mike Anderson. But 39 is a clean single to center. Tommy Davis will hold at third. No need to get thrown out when you're down 3 runs. And here is Vegas with something going on. Juan Benitez, the tie run with power. Ron Hodges, Tim Cullen, etc., etc. And I think it is time for Clay Carroll to come in here and finish this thing, as he is wont to do. Clay Carroll, 72, had MVP votes, was 6-4 with a 2.25 ERA in 96 innings. Had a remarkable scoreless streak in the regular season the last 2 years, where 0-0-0. Only to stumble slightly in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he is absolutely lights out as a closer. So he's being asked to get 3 outs in the 9th inning. And here we go. With runners on the corners, they're going to play it. They got to play it up because Benitez is an 8-bunter. So here's the pitch to Juan Benitez. 66 is a single off of the Clay Carroll card to right field. Nettles stays at second base, and here comes Las Vegas. They woke it up in the 9th. It's now 4-2 with first and second, nobody out, making Reds fans nervous worldwide. Well, this changes the. You don't really need the homer too much anymore. A couple hits here could tie this thing. First and second in a 4-2 game. They're going to play back for Ron Hodges. 2-11 for Ron as a pop to first. Now you have Tim Cullen. Let's take a look at this Tim Cullen card. This is a interesting card. It's a 261 in 142 at-bats for the Oakland A's in 72. Probably got himself a World Series ring, I'm going to guess. Against the Cincinnati Reds, I'm guessing. But a lot of doubles. And 8 of them in 142 at-bats. And a double here could score a run from first to tie this thing. So that's what they're thinking. And that's why he will swing away. The pitch to Tim Cullen. Another 2-11. Lines to third base. And with 2 outs, it's Ted Kubiak, who, believe it or not, has power. Take a look at this Kubiak card. Not normally known for power at all. He actually just had 1 homer and 72 at-bats, but they gave him power against righties and an extra base, a triple in the middle of that column there as well. And Carroll gives up a homer on his card. So Kubiak will slug away here. Still with first and second, and now with 2 outs, the pitch to Ted Kubiak. 55 off of Clay Carroll is short X. This is Concepcion, a 2E21, a 2, you plug the 2 in there. But it's a single dot off the 2 defense of Concepcion. That'll push the runners up to load them. The bases are loaded in a 4-2 game, and it's easy Ed Brinkman. Let's take a look at Ed Brinkman's card. And I know you're thinking, man, this guy got MVP votes for the Detroit Tigers in '72. Probably because he was a Gold Glove shortstop. And that must have helped the Tigers tremendously winning the American League East. But I think in a situation like this, I think you got to put some more meat on the bone here. And they're going to do a pinch hit. It'll be coming off the bench to pinch hit for Ed Brinkman, Barry Foote. Let's take a look at Barry Foote here. Now we're getting a little bit of scare into the Reds. Barry Foote in '74 was an Expo. 262 with 11 homers and 420 at-bats. And Barry Foote, with Ron Hodges the starting catcher, against righties. Foote catches against lefties, but he can also hit homers against righties, so he will pinch hit here with the bases loaded and 2 outs in a 4-2 game against Clay Carroll. The pitch to Barry Foote. 2-9, Barry Foote cracks a triple, 1-4 double into the gap in center field. It is a 6. It is a 2-base hit. 2 runs will tie the game. Now you got Kubiak racing wildly around third. He's a 12, 13, 14. But you got Geronimo in center field with a -4 arm, so he will hold a third. He will not run. They will take the tie and hold the runner up at third base in this situation so as not to get thrown out at the plate and give Ken Berry a chance. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Clay Carroll has finally failed in the regular season after 2 years of converting every save opportunity. He has finally missed a save. It is 4-4 with runners at second and third and 2 outs. And Ken Berry, let's take a look at Berry now. He's one of the better hitters on the team, a 289 hitter. A pass ball will win this thing as well. Ken Berry is the batter. Here is the pitch. 47 off of Clay Carroll is a strikeout. And we have extra innings in the desert. Oh boy. Now, Woody Fryman will continue. He's a relief 4 plus a starter 8. He can pitch for quite some time. And so we will go into the next inning. Now Barry Foote, we can work him in to be the new catcher. And we took out our shortstop, Ed Brinkman. So we can move Tim Cullen to short. Kubiak to second. Well, actually, we just moved Tim Cullen to shortstop, put Aurelio Rodriguez at third base. And that's what we'll do. We'll put Aurelio Rodriguez into third base in the Ron Hodges spot. We didn't do anything with the outfield. Still Jim Nettles, Ken Berry, and Juan Benitez. All right, well, the Reds kind of just blew that opportunity to right their ship in a somewhat disappointing follow-up to the World Series Championship a year ago, stumbling clearly in 2023, and now they're in extra innings against Las Vegas. Woody Fryman's out there, and it'll be Cesar Geronimo swinging away in what was formerly Tony Perez's spot. 1-9 for Geronimo is a fly to right. Johnny Bench. 5-11 off Woody Fryman is a walk. Johnny's on at first. For Lee May. 3-11 is a hit by the pitch. 2 on with 1 out. And it's Concepcion. You saw the card earlier, and the big blast was all of the offense pretty much for the Reds today. Can he do it again against another lefty, Tommy Helms? I mean, another lefty, Woody Fryman. The pitch to Dave Concepcion. 58 is short X. It's not Brinkman, but it is the Tim Cullen, the 3E48 shortstop. Because Kubiak stayed at second. 3E48 at short. And that is an error. So the 3E48 shortstop makes the error. That was the drawback when you pinched hit for Ed Brinkman, the 1E8. You did bring in A-Rod, but he's the 1E13 at third. Kubiak just stayed at second base, where that's his best defensive position. And Cullen went from being a 3E33 at third to a 3E48 at short, but it's still not good enough. So it loads the bases here with one out. No hit, 2 walks and an error. And it'll be Ken Suarez. He's had a nice day today. Let's take a look at this guy. Show and tell today. So, you know, one of the loneliest jobs in all of baseball is Johnny Bench's backup catcher. And for the longest time it was Bill Plummer. And the Reds decided to upgrade on Bill Plummer slightly with this guy, Ken Suarez, who can hit for a nice batting average against lefties there. Outstanding. Hit 248 and 73 for the Rangers. But by percentages, he hits close to 300 against lefties. So, infield is up. And here's the pitch to Ken Suarez. 53, left X, great defense, even in the outfield. Jim Nettles, 2E7 for Vegas. Trying to get a fly ball 7 if they can get it. They do not get it, and they get a 2-base error. Oh boy, and suddenly, the spotless Vegas defense fails in the 10th. A 2-base error on the left fielder with the bases loaded and 1 out. Nothing is earned in this inning, clearly. 2 runs will score, and you have runners at second and third with 1 out. My goodness. They got to bring it up for John Vukovic. 46, off of Woody Fryman, double 108, single dot dot, and that is single dot dot. Well, well, well. Vegas is not... Maybe they should have run old Ted Kubiak off of Cesar Geronimo's arm in the bottom of the 9th, because that gamble has not paid off at all. Tommy Helms, runner at first and 1 out. 55, second X. Kubiak, the second baseman, 329. That is a single off of him. It's called an implosion for a young team against the big bad red machine. So you have runners on the corners with 1 out for Bobby Tolan. Third B guns down to the plate. And Pete Rose, 2-7, rolls to short. Well, a big 4-run 10th inning. And Clay Carroll, I think he's going to take the afternoon off and collect a victory. And they're going to go... Jim Strickland will come on in the bottom of the 10th to try and get the save. And it'll be Wes Parker leading off. 57 is a K. Tommy Davis, 38, grounds to short. And Jim Nettles will swing away. 1-5, rolls to third, and Vegas goes out with a whimper after tying it in the 9th. So, looks like the story of this game, believe it or not, was bringing Geronimo into play center field with a -4 arm, hindering Kubiak's attempt to score from first on a 2-out double, put the brakes on at third base, and that hesitation probably cost the Vegas in this game. Never know what would have happened. It would have been a 50-50 shot, but probably should have taken it. So the final score is 8-4, 10-inning game. Reds not the big red machine yet this year. They're trying to figure themselves out a little bit. Woody Fryman takes a loss. They got some new cards. Got to figure out the right sequence of them. You know, the same players, but new cards, and that means different results, of course, from a year ago. You know, Tolan, Rose, Perez, and Bench. The top 4 hitters on this team all have brand new cards they're using. Different seasons from a year ago. Lee May's card remains the same, and Lee May's having one of the best years for the Reds at this point. Woody Fryman gives up 2 hits, 4 runs, none were earned. That's ridiculous. 2 walks, no strikeouts. Jim York walked a batter. No decision for Ken Brett. Gave up 10 hits and 4 runs. Where it was all earned. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Clay Carroll gets the win. Strickland gets the save. Strickland struck out a batter in that 10th inning. Clay Carroll came in and gave up 1, 2, 3 hits, a run, and a K. And Gary Nolan, no decision for him. 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those in the 9th. They were earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. 1-0-1-10, 0-1-0-9. Oh. Fryman pitched 2 innings, sorry about that. There we go. 1-0-1-10, 0-1-0-10. 8-12-4-10. 5-2-1-4, 1-4-5-2. Game 1 in the books. The expansion team in the Mountain Division usually rides a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down, because some years they have the right combination of these extra player cards clicking, but because they're extra players, they usually don't endure, and they stumble once you got to replace those cards. So who knows how good Vegas will be after winning the division the last 2 years. They can go from first to last. Portland could go from worst to first. Vegas is 2-4, hitting .246 with a .346 ERA. And the Reds, how are they doing? They're just a game under now. Reds are 2-3, hitting .258 with a .457 ERA. Yeah, that's not going to work. They are not going to repeat unless they make both areas better for this team. That's it today from Las Vegas. We'll give you the results of this series at the end of the video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here's your box score from Game 1, the 8-4 victory for the Reds on the road. Going up 1-zip in the series. Could they go up 2-zip on the road? Interesting game of 2 here. It is going to be Don Gullett versus Blue Moon Odom. And early on, the Reds are looking good. They get a 2-run homer with Johnny Bench, getting his offense going. We get an RBI single by Vegas, it's 2-1. Then an RBI single by Jim Stewart, and it's 3-1 Reds. A solo homer by Gale Hopkins, 4-1 Reds. But in the 7th inning, they got Tony Perez plays third base, so they drafted this guy named John Vukovic to be the backup defensive player. Well, the backup defensive player doesn't do a whole lot if you don't put him in the game. So after a couple of singles, they hit a ground ball to Tony Perez. It turns into a single and a run. Then after a fly out, another ground ball to Tony Perez. That turns into a double, and the game is tied. So the Reds blow a 4-1 lead in the 7th inning because Tony Perez is their third baseman, and that's what kind of happens. Ken Berry a single, Wes Parker a double, and an incredible output. 4 runs in just this 1 inning for Vegas, a team that struggles to score runs because the other team opens the door. And once they get a 1-run lead, this tough team, this Vegas team, holds on to it. 5-4 victory, stunning the Reds yet again. Reds did win Game 1, but almost lost it, and Vegas wins Game 2. Series tied a game apiece. So what happens in Cincinnati? Game 3, nice pitching. That's the theme you're going to see here in Cincinnati. Ray Culp versus Ross Grimsley. Bottom of the 1st, Tony Perez solo shot, 1-zip. Bottom of the 4th, Gale Hopkins, another homer for him, solo shot, 2-0. 7th inning, it's Mike Anderson, solo shot, 2-1. Reds out a run in the bottom half of the inning when Johnny Bench, RBI double. He's getting his bat going. 3-1 game. They do bring in Clay Carroll to pitch the 9th inning to get the save with a 2-run lead. A fly out, a triple, a grounder to the 1st. Then with 2 outs, they have already brought John Vukovic in the game as a defensive replacement. He hits a ground ball to John Vukovic, and he records the final out. Why? Because he's a 1 at third base. And so the game is over, and the Reds won. That's how you do it. You take your bad defensive players out late in games, and you generally win. And that's what just happened. Reds have now won 2 of the first 3 in the series. Ross Grimsley, 8 innings. Nice long outing for him. 4 hits, 1 run, a walk, of 2 strikeouts. Ray Culp, tough loss, 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs. So Game 4, we're setting up a pitcher situation, and oh boy, it was again. It is Jim Lomborg for Vegas against Steve Busby, the offseason acquisition from the American League. Last year was Dick Bosman they brought in to pitch a 3 days rest. This year it's Steve Busby. He might just be here for 1 year in Cincinnati before they package him up with a deal with either Kansas City or Houston. We don't know what we're going to do with Busby. But after today, they might think about holding on to him. Steve Busby and Jim Lomborg play scoreless baseball through 9 innings, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with Lomborg. 3 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Steve Busby, 4 hits, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. We go to extras, and the long guys, Wayne Granger, 3 shutout innings, 2 hits, 2 Ks. Jim Rowland, 3 hits in 3 innings with 2 Ks. We are scoreless into the 13th inning, and I'd like to thank Las Vegas and Cincinnati for helping my league ERA. I always appreciate when we get games like this, because when you get blowout wins, you can't get negative run games to balance out the overall ERA. And so often the league ERA is puffed up when blowouts happen. So every once in a while, when you get a 13-inning game and nobody scores, it really helps your old league ERA. So, top of the 13th inning, Clay Carroll finally comes in, walks a guy, strikes out a guy, gets 2 outs. Bottom of the 13th inning, Vukovic strikes out. We get a Dave Concepcion single. Now he's got some speed, so Tommy Helms does a hit and run, gets the hit and run single. So we got runners on the corners with 1 out. They bring the infield up. Pete Rose grounds out to the pitcher, but the infield was up, so the runner had to hold at third. But with 2 outs in the bottom of the 13th inning of a scoreless game, Bobby Tolan rolls off of the Roger Hambright card, triple 1-4, fly ball the rest, and he hits the 4 to win the game. And a heartbreaking loss for Vegas trying to even this series up. A 1-4 chance out of 20 to win the game. Bobby Tolan hits it. We turn it into a single since the winning run was at third base. That's it. 1-0. Clay Carroll gets the win. Roger Hambright gave up the 3 hits and the run in that 13th inning, and that's the margin of the razor-thin margin of defeat for poor Las Vegas. They lose this series 3-1 to the Cincinnati Reds, who have not looked like world beaters this year, folks, and they've got the ship back to 500 at least, and now they will begin their divisional run. They've played the conference, and now they'll start playing, the Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs. And maybe they'll play better against familiar faces. So that's it. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Reds for evening up their season with a 3-1 series win over Vegas. And we'll see you next time.